Hi, this is Miss George, and we're going to talk today about how you can take your journal entries and how you can make sure that you're following all the steps that your teacher wants you to follow in order to get the best grade on your journal entry. So the first thing I want to do when I start looking at my journal is look at the prompt. So you're going to see right here that for class today, we're going to be looking at this prompt. I'm going to highlight it in yellow, and it is explain why it is important to have friends. And I bet immediately you started thinking of somebody. Hopefully, you have a best friend. Maybe you're lucky enough to have a couple of best friends, and hopefully you started thinking about them. And when we start thinking about our prompt and ideas start popping into our heads, that's called brainstorming. We're coming up with concepts and ideas that we can think about and we can write about. So the first thing when I have a journal entry is I kind of want to brainstorm. So I'm going to write down, three things that come to mind when I think about why it's important to have a friend. So the first thing, I'm thinking of my best friend. I tell her everything, and you can't tell me y'all don't tell your friends everything. My best friend knows things that my parents don't know, it's just she knows everything. So I think it's important to have a best friend because I need to have a confidant, someone to share secrets and confide in. I tell her things, whew, you don't even want to know. Okay, let me think. Another reason why it's important to have a friend, sometimes bad things happen and like people pass away or move, we have to move. And so, I want someone who's able to comfort me in times of sadness. Because I get sad sometimes, things happen. And let's see, trying to think. You know what? I'm also think it's important to have a best friend because it's someone to have fun with. Like go hang out, um, have adventures with. So I'm not with that. With friends. Okay, so I've got three reasons why I think it's important to have friends. So what I want to do when I'm writing my journal, and this is going to be the same case when I'm writing my essay when we start practicing expository, I want to pick my strongest reason. And sometimes my strongest reason is not always immediately what I think of. So I want to pick the reason that I'm going to be able to discuss the most. I want to pick the reason that's going to have the most facts to back it up. So when I look at these, honestly, no offense, but I may not want to tell you guys all the secrets I tell my friend. So I'm not probably going to pick this first one. I just don't want to put all that information out there. Someone to comfort me in times of sadness. I had a death last year that my friend helped me with. Sometimes I get overwhelmed at work or I just get upset with something somebody's told me. So I have a couple things I could talk about there. And then someone to have fun with, go hang out with, and have adventures with. Yeah, I could talk about some things there too. But which one do I think is going to probably give me the most information, the most to talk about? I think for me, this one is my strongest reason. So I'm going to copy it. I hit Control C, and I'm going to paste it here in step two. And step two says pick your strongest reason. So I'm going to hit Control V, and I'm going to paste it. I'm going to take that 4 away, just hitting the backspace. So my strongest reason is someone to comfort me in times of sadness, because I feel like I can write a lot about this. So now I've got my reason. I'm going to go to step 3, and step 3 is review the directions and what my teacher wants me to do in my writing. So I posted some specific directions for your journal entry that you're going to do this week. We've been talking about compound and simple sentences. I know you've been talking about it. I made the lessons and I made the games. I hope you enjoyed them. So now my teacher wants me to write a journal entry about the prompt provided, which is about friends, and I have to have at least 5 compound sentences and I have to have at least 5 simple sentences. So sometimes it's hard to just come up with those off the bat. Oops, sorry. I have my kitty cat here. She stepped on my computer. Sometimes I'm just going to do some writing and then I might have to come back and revise in order to get those compound and simple sentences. So when I start my writing, I like to start with the prompt. And what was it again? It was explain why it's important to have friends. So I'm going to start right here and I'm going to restate my prompt. It is important to have friends because, and what was my reason? Because they can support you when you have difficult situations in your life. Now, we did dead words around Halloween. Listen, times of sadness is strong, but don't you think difficult situations sounds better? I think it does. So I want my writing to be as strong as it can be. So sometimes you're going to kind of change your wording a little bit. So let's look at this sentence. It's a pretty good sentence. Two parts to it. We're going to get into this. I actually think this is a complex sentence. Miss Miller, you might have to fix me, but I think it's a complex sentence. So now I've given my audience, I've given my teacher what I'm going to write about. I've got the prompt and I've got my reason in a sentence together. It's called a topic sentence. Go, Miss George. So I'm just going to kind of introduce my audience to my best friend. So my best friend's name, is Amber. Well, let's see. I've got a subject. I'm going to color that. And my verb is. So yeah, I have at least a simple sentence here. And how many simple sentences did I have to have? I had to have 5. So I'm just going to put here simple. I know I've got 1. Okay, let me think. What else do I want to say? I can kind of talk about her a little bit. I can say, Amber and I have been friends. Oops, I don't want to put numbers in my writing. I want to spell it. Oops, I was right the first time. Amber and I have been friends for 8 years. Now I know a compound sentence uses fanboys. And if you don't remember what fanboys are, what are they? Let's see. F stands for A stands for and, N stands for nor, B stands for but, O stands for or, Y stands for, I know it, I'm just kidding, yet. So you know what, I think I can make this sentence a compound. Amber and I have been friends for 8 years. I'm going to pick one of these. I think I can do it with and. And we continue to be friends today. Well, there, I did it. I have a compound sentence. Well, now that wasn't too difficult. Now sometimes it's easy. Sometimes it's more difficult. So you might end up with 2 simple sentences later on that you can combine. Oops. Sorry if you heard that. That's the cat. So I'm going to keep on writing. I want to talk about that really difficult situation in my life. So last year, actually, let me do it this way. My grandmother passed away last year, period. I knew I could count on my friend to be there for me. Well, those are 2 simple sentences. I don't have any fanboys in here, but can I combine these 2 sentences to make them? Let me think about it. My grandmother passed away last year. I knew I could count on my friend to be there for me. Those do go together. So if I take the period out, I got to put a comma. Which fanboy word would work best? Let's see. My grandmother passed away last year. I knew I could count on my friend. Nah, that doesn't sound right. My grandmother passed away last year, and I knew I could count on my friend. That could work. My grandmother passed away last year, nor I could count on my friend. No, that doesn't work. My grandmother passed away last year, but I knew I could count on my friend. I like that better than the and. Or I knew, yet I knew. I think but might work best. So I was able to take a simple sentence here and combine it with a second simple sentence. And now I have 2 compound sentences. So I'm going to keep on going. So my grandmother passed away. How did I was very upset. But what? Or yet, I was very upset. My grandmother lived in Ohio, so I actually had to travel there. So maybe I can say something about that. I was very upset, yet I knew I had to travel for several hours to make it to the funeral. Wow. Look at that. I was very upset. That's a sentence. It's a simple sentence. I knew I had to travel for several hours to make it to the funeral. Another simple combined with a fanboy. So now I've got 3 compound sentences. This isn't that hard. We're going to keep writing. I talked to Amber about my dilemma, and I spelled dilemma wrong. See, Miss, even adults spell things wrong. And I'm going to actually just use this thing, 2 M's. I didn't know, but now I know. I talked to Amber about my dilemma, and she gave me advice on how to deal with my loss. What did I just do? I was trying not to do a compound, and I got another compound. So I can say one of the things she told me to do is talk about it. So Amber and I spent time telling stories about my grandmother. Simple sentence. Look at that. 2. As we told stories, I found myself laughing and smiling. Now, I did use and, but does it separate 2 simple sentences? Let's check it out. So I've got, as we told stories, I found myself laughing. I have a subject and I have a verb. See, we told. I've got my subject and told is my verb. Let's look at the other side of and, smiling. I really hope you know that smiling by itself is not a sentence. So I have here a simple sentence. So I'm going to actually stop there, but I hope that you guys can see that it's not that difficult to actually write a compound sentence. The key is, practice with some of these different fanboys. Sometimes it just happens automatically as you're writing. The one key thing is, make sure that you've got your commas before that fanboy. I put it in red. Should actually even make it bigger. I know some of you guys, you're going to pretend you didn't see it. Yeah, I see you peoples. Look how big is that. See, comma. Can you guys see it now? All right. So this is just a little preview. So we looked at all these steps. We brainstormed. We picked our strongest reason. We double checked what our directions were from our teacher. And then we started our writing. Okay. And you can see, like I did, I kept track of how many sentences I had. It just helps me. All right. Thank you guys.